Hey guys, Kurt from Time Machine Transport. Just driving over to the shop. Fucking doing 6 wheel hubs on 2 trailers, man. That's a lot of fucking work. And it ain't cheap. But I'm saving thousands of dollars instead of having a shop do it. But anyways, I was driving out. I'm like, you know what? I was thinking of story time. And so I'm going to go over a few things. But the first time so we're gonna do the Booty Pounders story, or truth, actually. So this was years and years and years ago. There was this gay joint in Milwaukee, Wisconsin called La Cage. Some people call it the Cage, and it's down in like this Walker's Point, trendy area or whatever. A lot of not straight people live there, I guess. So my mom worked for a hospital named called St. Francis in Milwaukee, and her supervisor, forget his name, but white dude, and he was not a straight person, so his lover slash partner, whatever, they like to go to LA Cage. So my mom says, hey, Diana is my ex. She's my son's mom. And, you know, here's an interesting point. My child is transgender, was a beautiful, I mean, model type girl. And, but I support him. I don't understand it, but he's still my child, so he transitioned from a girl to a man, or a lady to a man. And he's a nice looking dude, to be honest. So he gets a lot of trim, I guess. But anyways, so I'll have to go into that in the future. So anyways, my mom asks, she goes, hey, do you and Diana want to meet us at La Cage? My mom didn't call it LA Cage. And she said, what the hell was his name? It's right on the tip of my tongue, her supervisor. Ken and his significant other, I didn't know his name. But my mom and her supervisor, Ken, they really, really got along. So we go. Now, this is my first time, maybe. No, it was definitely my first time in a not straight place. I don't want to say the GAY word too much because they'll flag my video for whatever reasons. Anyways, so we're in there, place is packed, and I've been there a few times. With my mom and her friends, and then we went there for I was best man at one of my guys' weddings, and he and his wife wanted to go to the Cage, or LA Cage, and so anyways, we're in there, we're having a great time. Whenever I've gone there in the past, you feel like almost drugged, and a lot of the people that have gone there with their girls, their wives, whatever, they also feel like they've been drugged, which is interesting. I'll get into that. So anyways, we're in there, we're right by the bar, having a great time, and all of a sudden this person comes up to me, they give me a big old hug, and they're like, oh my God, Kurt, I did not know. And I'm like, oh, no. So I introduced this person to my mom, my fiance at the time, Ken, so on and so on. So now let's rewind to how this person knows me. So a long time, when I first got out of the military in 92, I went to work as a alarm installer. The guy that had the, back then they had the newspaper, So I was looking in the wanted ads for employment, and this guy calls me, Tom Veith, and he's like, "Hey, he didn't call me, I called him, and explained to him, I'm prior military, blah blah blah, just got out looking for a job." And I said, "I've never installed security systems before." He goes, "That's exactly who I'm looking for." He said, "Somebody who's disciplined, somebody that's willing to learn, and somebody that definitely doesn't install alarms, because I want to train you my way," which made a lot of sense. And he was very good at what he did. And like hiding wires, fishing wires, stuff like that. We did a lot of high-end homes. So anyways, so I moved up in the company. I went from installation guy to installation manager, and then I became an operations manager, and then they sold our division to a local competitor. So that's how I got into real estate, and then after real estate, now the trucking gig. So anyways, so the person that knows me, we did an alarm system for these people, this not straight couple, and I believe their names were, it was either Mark and Tom or something. We'll just call them Mark and Tom. Not important. So when we were, they had a walk-in safe in the basement. This was an old mansion that they bought in a rougher area, but man, it turned out beautiful. So anyways, we were in there doing the security system because, like I said, it's not a great area. And we're talking or whatever, and they're talking about how they want to run. Damn, this fucking road's rough, man. This 2500, man, I love my truck, but it's got that beefed up suspension, man, so you're fucking always rocking and rolling in this thing. So we're talking, they're talking about getting fiber optic and phone lines, camera system, all that kind of stuff in their place. And they asked me if I would be willing to do that for them. I said, yeah, absolutely. So they paid me cash, and I was there after. All I did was ever work. But had yourself on the shoulder, on the back. Oh, great job, Kurt. You work so much. So after work, I'd go there and I'd work until 11 o'clock, midnight, whatever, and then weekends, of course, stuff like that, because it was a big ass house and it was a lot of work. And they were super great to me, man. They bought dinners and they paid me extremely well. But and knowing that they're not a straight couple, I don't have a problem with that. It is what it is. It's not my business. If you're a booty pounder, it's not my business. So that's how Tom and Mark were at LA Cage, and they saw me by the bar because of my loud ass mouth and laugh or whatever. And when they looked, they didn't see that. They just saw I was there with my mom, and which I'm sure they didn't know was my mom, but this lady and then another lady and these two guys, and they thought that I was not a straight guy. So I give them a big old hug, and we're all getting fucking tuned up. So now we leave, feeling like drugged up again or whatever. Shit, I think I went the wrong fucking way. Damn it. Shit, I have to turn around. So, anyways, now let's fast forward a little bit later in the club. Actually, no, we didn't. So I gotta take that back. This is why the truth is so goofy. So after Mark and Tom go their way, dance, make out, whatever, Where my ex and I and my mom, Ken, his significant other, we're all talking blah 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 at the same bar, and all of a sudden I hear, "Oh my God, Kurt! It's not Mark and Tom." And they already knew that I was a straight guy because of this. So when I worked for West Tech, that was a security company I worked for. Like I said, we did only high-end homes. So there was this house, I want to say it was in Bayside, Wisconsin, a suburb of Milwaukee. And we were doing this. It was a ranch style home, but they were gutting the whole thing, and it turned out beautiful. But I worked on that job when I was I don't think I was the install. I think I was still just a regular install tech. And we were doing this house, West Tech, for this couple, not straight couple. I don't know this is what I don't understand about, and it's not really for me to understand. I guess I just don't get it. How when you look at not straight couples, you'll have one that is the man and one that's the woman, or more feminine and more masculine. So if you're the guy in the relationship and your significant other is the female, why don't you just go for females? I don't understand that. And the same way, if you're a female in the relationship and your significant other is a male, or more dominant, more masculine, why don't you just go for dudes? Me, myself, I couldn't imagine rolling around in bed with a hairy ass dude. I just couldn't. Like, I think I probably could be gay. I think there's that word. I probably shouldn't have said it. I probably could be if it weren't for the penetration thing, or the BJ thing. If it were just me hanging, that's why I love my wife so much, because she's like, she's amazing. Hi, baby girl, I love you, but it's like hanging out with your buddy. So, I could be the GAY type if it weren't for the penetration and the mouth thing. Because you're hanging out with your guy all day, whatever, playing sports, going to the movies, whatever the case is. So it's just one of those things. Like, I think I probably could if it weren't for rolling around in bed with a hairy dude. All that aside, there goes my GAY tendencies, I guess. Not true. So anyways, I'm doing this house, and I'm there and I've been there for a long time because it's a big project. When they had it gutted, that was one phase where you got to pre-wire the house, and then you got to come back and you got to mount the panel, run all the get all the wires into the panel, and then after the paint's done, then you can go ahead and start mounting devices. So it's multi-layered, I guess. And so the couple, like I said, I don't know who the dominant one or the masculine one. I don't remember his name. However, I could never forget the female's name. Why? Because his name is Kurt. Truth. So them seeing me on a regular basis, on their house. So Kurt's significant other, he was like a world-renowned interior designer. From what I was told, people actually sent in their private jets to pick him up and take him overseas because he's just that great of a designer, I guess. So, anyways, just down real quick. This dude's passing me. I'm doing fucking 63 and a 55. Oh, it's your speeding ticket, homie. So knowing these guys for so long, for months and months and months, we would talk and whatever, and they would invite me to do dinner or at their house or whatever. Just really nice people. So I remember on the last day, I was there wrapping stuff up, just double checking, testing everything. And it was in the summertime, and it was fucking hot. And they had an in-ground pool. They made it. It was beautiful. So it's like, I don't know. It's summertime, so it's not dark. It's probably like 6, 7, maybe, or 5 or 6, something like that. Anyways, they have all these guests coming over for this housewarming, and their friends were all like, beautiful people as well. Like, they had chicks there that looked like models with bikinis on. So I don't think they were the trans type, but anyways, just really good looking people, man. Like, you're like, fuck, man, this is like gorgeous fucking Central. But anyways, I remember going out to the patio or to the pool area, and as I opened the door, you could see all the beautiful people. But the first thing that catches my eye is this person jumping up and down on the diving board. You cannot make this up. And it's Kurt. Not this Kurt, that Kurt. And yeah, I'm being Kurt with you. So, he's got a Speedo on. He's got a swim cap on. And he's jumping up and down on this diving board. And he's just going, wee! Wee! I mean, he's loving life. Everybody's clapping, blah, blah, blah. And so I wait for him to get out of the water, because then he dove in. So I wanted to say, it was nice working with you guys. And they always tip me and stuff like that. But they were really nice people. And so I went to say, and they're like, oh no, you have to hang out for a while. You could come on, we insist, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm still in my work gear or whatever. And they're like, yeah, please, please, please. So I stayed for a little bit, a couple hours, had some drinks, ate some good food, and really got to know them better. So now let's fast forward to LA Cage. The person that comes up behind me and says, Kurt! Now, obviously, because me knowing them for so long, they knew about my child, my ex, so on and so on. So they're like, but when they see you at a not straight place, people are, they're kind of wondering, like, are you a fucking switch hitter? I mean, are you ambidextrous? I mean, I don't know. But anyways, it's Kurt. Comes up and he hugs me. Oh my God, I didn't know. And I'm like, no. I said, so I introduced him to my mom's supervisor, Ken, his significant other, my mom, my ex, blah, blah. And they stayed talking by the bar for a long time. Now we leave, pretty fucked up, feel drugged, whatever. And that's how the LA Cage thing started. And from there, I was fucking hooked. You fucking transgender loving son of a bitch, you. No. So I remember I was trying to, oh man, don't tell me the fucking exit's fucking closed, or the on-ramp. You motherfuckers. I hate when they do that shit, man. Fuck, now what do I do? Well, I guess I keep driving and fucking telling the truth. So then, fast forward, a brother of mine, big guy, like 6'8", big guy, but he's of the religious type. So I'm trying to set him up with my sister. He wasn't of the religious type when we went to La Cage. Damn it, man. I hope I can fucking get through here, man. I don't think I can. Anyways, so it's my sister Jessica, my buddy, myself. I wasn't with my ex then. My mom was there again. I think Ken came. And these gay dudes, they're digging my buddy. You know, because he's just a fucking beastly guy. And they're just loving him. So I remember him and my sister never hooked up, but it was a great time. And he's a good brother of mine. And you know who I'm talking about. Love you, brother. So I remember, you know, sometime during the night at LA Cage, him and I we're tuned up, like, again, feel, you know, drugged again, whatever, and we're both up on this stage. And we're dancing, and we're laughing, whatever, and all these non-straight dudes are spanking us on the ass. It was weird, but anyways, we had a great time. And then the last time I went to LA Cage was I was the best man for my brother Mike's wedding, and his wife KJ. And so we you gotta fucking, what the fuck you parked there for? Where was I? I hate when that fucking happens. Look at that house in Wisconsin. Beautiful house right by the lake here. So his wife KJ wants to go to LA Cage, and she's in her wedding gown and we're in suits. So we walk in this bitch, and of course all the non-straight dudes, and there's non-straight girls there too, and they're all, you know, congratulating her and giving her hugs and just really, you know, like sincerely congratulating this and that. So anyways, Mike and I, the groom, he has to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, yeah, I got to go too. So we walk towards, it's not men and ladies bathroom, it's just whoever uses it. But in the other years that I went, they had doors on the bathrooms. But now when Mike and I go there, the door is off the bathrooms, and they literally have a bouncer standing at each doorway. So some weird shit or some crazy shit must, you know, non-straight people are pretty fucking wild. I ain't gonna lie. So they're and we still got our corsages on, or is that what it's called? Anyways, you could see we were at some sort of, you know, wedding or something. And we walk into the bathroom past the security guard, and there's a bunch of these fucking dudes in there. And so Mike and I were done. We're washing our hands, and they're like, "Oh, was there a special occasion?" I'm like, "Yeah." He finally asked me to marry him, and I accepted. So today was our special. I kid you not, the whole fucking bathroom erupts and fucking and applause. You cannot make this up. And then that night, my cousin Danny and his wife Paula, they came to meet us there. And my cousin Danny is a wild motherfucker too. So he's a little dude, good looking guy. The non-straight guys will, you know, they love him. But so he and I and his wife, I think KJ, the bride, we were all out there dancing. And this couple, like, they come up and they're like dancing with us. Well, if you're in a place like that, you know, a lot of people are going to assume that you're not a straight person, right? So this dude ends up sliding over, and he starts fucking like pantomiming dry humping me, and he's like rubbing up, and I'm like, what do you, I mean, I know, I mean, I'm not mad that you assumed that I was not straight. However, were you just teasing? Were you just being a tease, trying to make the old fat guy's day, amazing, if you will? So that was that night. Well, I got to back up. So the night that my brother and I were there with my sister and my mom, all that kind of stuff, so they were already there, and I said, I was working late or whatever. So I remember walking down the street from my car to go into the place, and we used to play ball for. They have a lot of bars down there, so we played a lot of ball for. There were some sponsors, so we would hang out at these bars, even if we weren't playing for them that year. And I started telling myself, "Oh fuck! If I walk into fucking LA Cage by myself, and one of my buddies sees me, oh my god, you can't explain that, right?" So I remember, I sped walked and had my face down, and I literally dipped into the club like quick, and so I drove myself, obviously. Well, not obviously, but I drove myself. And that night when we were done, or when the place closed, again feeling super drugged up again, right? And so I go to my car, and I'm fucking hammered. And I know, shame on me, shouldn't have been driving. But back then I was just a wild motherfucker, man. I had no off switch. So I go and start my car up, and I go to move it, and now I'm in the road, and this is like a side residential area, all houses, dark. It's not really in the best neighborhood. It's just in fashionably, like a hipster's area. So, but there's a lot of thugs around there too and shit. So I remember, as soon as I pull out into the road, I gotta fucking throw up, man. I mean, I am I gotta do it now. So instead of just sticking my head out the window, what does my dumb ass do? Put the car in park, open the driver door, and I go around to the sidewalk where there's a big ass tree and there's grass right there. And I start throwing up bad. And this is why I say it was like we were drugged, because as soon as I started throwing up, I passed out immediately. There was no it was I was out. And I remember coming to, and it was raining. It was pouring rain, actually. And my car was still sitting in the street with the driver's side door open, still running. The fucking train tracks need to be fucking fixed over here in Burlington. I had my nice watch on, my gold bracelet, blah blah blah. Shit that you shouldn't be fucking passing out in the hood, or being knocked out in the hood with things that they can take, right? So I don't know if I was out for a minute, 2 minutes, half hour. I just remember it was pouring rain, and that's how I woke up. And I just got in my car and drove away. And man, it really, really hurts your ass when you throw up by a tree. It's weird. So, no. But that's the LA. Well then, okay, so I have to rewind again. Sorry. You can see all the fucking shit I'm doing out here at the shop, man. It's just, it's exhausting. So, anyways, rewind to a couple brothers of mine, my guy Delta, my guy Dennis, or Dino. We used to go clubbing down in that Walker's Point area. And I remember one night we were standing in line. We had got to the club and there was a massive line. And we're like, fuck, man, we're ready to get tuned up. So we're like, we're going to go get a drink somewhere where it's not so busy, and then the line will thin out. And excuse me. So we walk into this bar. It's semi-crowded, and it's like two sections. There's a front where the big bar is, and then like a seating area, and then a wall with a big opening, and then on that side there was a dance floor, and then more tables. So we walk in, and we're just looking around, listening to music, and right when we walk in, we walk up to the bar, and I said I got first round, so I give the bartender my card or cash, whatever it was, and this guy's got a leather vest on, no shirt underneath it. I'm like, well, not a big deal. He turns around to go to the register. You can't even, you could make this up, I guess, if you were a weirdo. But as he walks to the register, or maybe he went to go make the drinks first, regardless, he walked away from the bar. He had assless chaps on with no drawers on. Like, it was just Moon City right there. And I'm like, I look at Dino and Dennis's name, we call him Delta. I look at Dino and Delta, and they're like, yeah, we just figured it out. We're in a gay joint. So we get our drinks and we walk back by the dance floor area, and then you really see it's a not straight place. Guys, whatever. It shouldn't be weird, but that's between them and God. And you would think that we would have left after the first drink. I think we stayed for like 2 or 3 more drinks or something like that. Anyways, we went over and got into the other club. But then, so now we're going to fast forward to the time I was at a truck stop when I drove semi, or one of the trips I went out. I was delivering to New York. Forget, it was years back. No, we had just bought Mr. Clyde. So this was probably 4 or 5 years ago. In the wintertime, cold as shit. And of course, he's got to go potty once I park the rig. And I remember, so I have a handicap thing because I have a 90% disability from the military. I have one of those handicap things. So I hang it. I get to park in the handicap spot, which is right up front, which I don't like doing. I don't like parking right up front, but it was the only thing available. That's why I use my fucking get out of a tow free sticker thingy. So it's dark, and it's like kind of like a sleet almost. It's really, really cold. So I wanted to just take Clyde out and just let him do his business real quick because it was going to be fast because of the weather. So I start walking across the parking lot towards this grassy area, and I hear behind me, because I kind of saw it on my peripheral, like some movement, like the door opened or whatever. But I don't pay any attention. And as I'm walking, Clyde, of course, turns and he sees another human that he obviously, well, not obviously, but he thinks that absolutely adore him and love him. So he starts fucking wanting to pull over by the guy. And then I'm like, oh, so he's like, hey, can I pet him? I'm like, sure. White guy, smaller guy. And so he's like, is it okay if I give him a treat? And I'm like, sure. Which, if I think back now, like I probably shouldn't have, because who knows what, I don't know this fucking guy. I mean, would you let a stranger give your child a piece of candy? Maybe, maybe not. I wouldn't personally, so I guess it was stupid of me to say yeah, because Clyde is like our kid. So we start talking, and he says, this truck stop I think was in Ohio. Or maybe it was, I don't know. But I was delivering in New York. So this, I can't remember if this was in Ohio or New York, but anyways, so I'm like, oh, I got to walk him over here to the bathroom. So he's like, oh, I'll go get my dog too. I'm like, fuck. So he walks over to his truck. Now his truck there's a truck right next to the grassy area where you walk the dogs, and then his truck is right next to that. So he's right there, and it's all lit up. So he's like, yeah, I'm right here, blah, blah. So he goes in, gets his dog, and he comes out, and the dog and Clyde are, sniffing, kind of playing a little bit or whatever. But I didn't put Clyde's jacket on because it was supposed to be quick. So we're sitting there talking, this and that, and the guy looks down, he sees my leash. It's a retractable leash, but I got big hands, so my fingers or my hand weren't fitting into the handle of the leash. So the guy's like, oh man, you got to get a better leash, man. He's like, you got to have one that your whole hand fits into. And he said, that's, I said, yeah, I said, that makes sense or whatever. I just like, okay, whatever. So then he picks up Clyde and he's like, petting him or whatever. He goes, man, his nails are sharp. They're long. I'm like, yeah, they are. And he says, hey, let's go back to my truck. He says, I'll show you how to, do their nails. And I'm like, all right. But I'm like, it's cold. We've been out there now for like a fucking half hour. My hands are freezing. Clyde, I'm trying to hold him because he's shivering. Little fucking spoiled ass pussy. So, anyways, we walk over to his truck. And he drove for a company. I don't know which, I can't remember what company. But he had a new, so like I said, this was probably 4 or 5 years ago. He had a brand new, the Western Star that came out. They're pretty cool trucks, and they look pretty big. So we walk over to his truck, and he opens his door, and he pulls out this, it's like, it's like one of those round sand things. It was battery operated, that you take like calluses off your feet or whatever, like a pumice stone, I guess. And it's maybe this long by that diameter. And he starts doing Clyde's nails. But he does the one, and then he's like, oh, he says, I'm like, oh, nice truck, whatever. He goes, oh man, you should, man, you gotta, it was an automatic. And he said, it's quiet, man. And of course I got an old truck or whatever that's loud and shaky. And he's like, oh, he said, get up in there. So he said, oh, it's kind of messy because I have a dog. And I'm saying, I have a dog, but my shit's still clean. So I jump up in there, and the driver's door is open. I'm sitting in the seat. I'm like, damn, this is nice. I said, it's huge in here. He goes, man, go ahead, close the door and start it up. So I did. I closed the door, started up, and I'm as I'm thinking about it later on after I told my buddies about this, they're like, yeah, and then gas starts coming out of the fucking ceiling, and next thing you know, you're fucking doing a L.A. Cage fucking cue ball in your mouth as a gag. So, anyways, I shut the truck off, open the door. He goes, quiet. I'm like, yeah. Now at this point, I'm getting, I wouldn't say leery of the dude, but I'm getting anxious. I want to get the fuck out of there. My dog's fucking kind of wet. I'm wet. Fucking, it's cold as fucking. This dude wants to. So he goes, here, man, you should do the rest of his nails. I'm like, man, I said, and I lied my ass off. I don't know why I came up with this lie. I should have just been like, nah, man, he's cold, blah, blah. I told the guy, I'm like, oh, we're heading over to California after this. My cousin's a veteran. Not a veteran, a veterinarian. And I said, so he'll do it. He goes, oh, okay, all right. And then he gives me back Clyde, and he jumps up in the truck, and he's like, oh, you did? He said, because I never asked what his dog's name was. He had a black wiener dog, And so I don't know why I didn't ask his name. Maybe I didn't want to get too personal with this guy. Except jump up in his truck and possibly get fucking gassed and kidnapped. So anyways, he's like, "Oh, you didn't ask my." No, I think I think after a while or whatever, I said, "You know what? What's your dog's name?" I don't think there's really ever been a time that I've talked to somebody at a truck stop or at a store or anywhere in my life, well, my latter years or my older years of life, where if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I'll literally ask them their name, like, "Hey, what's your name?" Shake their hand, introduce myself. It's just more personable. So I don't remember how that went, but I'm pretty sure that I had reached out and said, "Hey, what's your name, whatever, and then what's your dog's name?" So he tells me, well, he also said he was married, but he's on the road a lot or whatever. But then when I ask him his dog, it's crazy. When I ask his dog's name, he says, "Oh, that's, what the hell was it? It was that's Sir Harry Black Wiener." Like that. That is Sir Harry Black Wiener, not Wiener Dog. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I definitely want to fucking get the hell out of this place. So he goes, and I was like, oh, man, nice. But he kept saying, like, Sir Harry Black Wiener. He didn't say dog. It was weird. And then he was showing me his dog's nails. They were all black, and how that's rare. It was weird. So anyways, I'm like, yeah, I got to get him back, man. I got to get up at 3 or 4 or whatever. I got to get going. And he's like, oh, so he holds out his hand to shake my hand. You would think I'd be like doing a fist bump, but I was like, nah, I shook his fucking hand. And it was the longest, most awkward handshake I think I've ever had in my life. This dude kept shaking my hand, and his hand was fucking like sweaty and clammy. And he was and he had the stare, like, it was nice to meet you, Kurt. And I'm like, and I literally had to, and I swear to God, I had to almost, well, not forcibly, but I had to like, I wouldn't say aggressive, but I purposely like pulled my hand. Like when you shake somebody's hand and then it's like 2 seconds and then you let go. This dude's like holding my hand for like fucking 30 seconds. And you would think my dumb ass would have been like, oh man, I gotta fucking break contact with this dude before he fucking hypnotizes me. It was so fucking weird. Fast forward, wake up the next morning. Mr. Clyde's got to do his business, and it's dark. It's like 4 in the morning, whatever. And we're walking over to the little dog area, and as I see dude's truck, he's got his curtains closed, but I can see, how they got the little breaks in the curtain. I can see the inside lights on. And I'm like, Clyde, please hurry the fuck up. This dude, he's like the perfect shit area. So I'm just saying, oh my God, I'm out. Sure enough, who the fuck walks around the back of the other truck that's parked right next to the area? I forget dude's name, but I will never forget Sir Harry Black Wiener, ever. And of course he comes over, and now we're fucking stuck there for like 40 minutes. And I was just like, what the fuck, dude? So there's just some weird ass people out there. It was very, very weird. How long we at? We're at 45. When you see me look over and look up, I'm looking at the time. So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. And then we're going to do some more booty pounder story with a guy that I was stationed with in Italy. And the time that this rich dude, back when I was younger, obviously. I mean, I'm not attractive now, and I'm definitely not in shape. But when I was in shape and younger, blah, 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 when I worked for Westech, one of our high-end clients, he was actually coming on to me. It's weird. Anyways, but I'll say, so this is going to be Booty Pounder Part 1, and then we'll do a Booty Pounder Part 2. So anyways, I got to get to work here. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Stay away from Sir Harry Black Wieners. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Ciao.